Before you started wanting to S Barry's D.
Well, he's our guest, and I do anything for our guest. So 3 things we'd like to see at Dallas Cowboys mandatory minicamp. And I'm only bringing this up because we are getting into mandatory minicamp. I mean, there is some shit I'd like to see.
Yeah.
We're just in this weird time right now, right? We got to fill Cowboys news. But Barry, if you had to pick, you don't even have to name 3, but like just name a couple things that you would like to see. One, maybe that we improve on going into season, or maybe a certain guy at a starting position or someone switching position. It can be anything. Just something going into mandatory minicamp.
Before Barry says it, because he's about to, I could see him just taking some air, and he's about to say, we've already said it, TP20 getting some other reps besides a running
Are
back.
you already going for it?
I just went for
Okay, so you got one. So you want to see TP20 get more reps,
Yeah.
okay? So there's one. We can each do one. So ads is
Right. Let's go around. Let's go around.
So ads
I did
is
I did the layup one.
yeah, you lay it up. You went TP20 getting more touches or just being more involved, which we did talk about, more involved with the offense.
Yep.
Okay, I like it. I can deal with that. Very vanilla, but we'll take it. Barry, what are you thinking? Give me something a little bit more in depth than that shitty answer, Adam. Just kidding.
No, definitely. My answer would be I need to see CeeDee Lamb become the leader of the wide receiver room.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he needs to.
Yeah.
He seems like this quiet, cool. He seems like a cool dude, but he needs to now take. Like, he's in his 3rd year here. This is kind of when you separate the men from the boys, right? Like, if you want to,
he needs to become the leader. He needs to grow up a little bit, become a little bit mature, and take the handle of that team. And because we're gonna go as far as obviously the quarterback, our skill positions, but he's gonna be the guy this year. So if he's gonna be the guy, he has to lead like the guy.
Which we obviously reports of Dak and CD moving their lockers closer. I mean, it sounds so stupid when they're like, oh, they're moving lock. That type of shit, though, it matters. You know,
yeah.
It does. It does.
That type of stuff absolutely matters, specifically when you're looking at a team and you're trying to get the top, let's say the top 10 guys kind of connecting with each other. I'm not just talking about offense, top 10 guys. I'm just talking about team, like the top 10 guys on the team, which would be an interesting thing for us to go down the list and say, who are the top 10 guys on the Cowboys team. But CeeDee Lamb, absolutely 125% has the ability to be up there with Dak, but they need to connect. They need that chemistry. Pull away from Schultz and fucking get into CeeDee Lamb. Amari's gone.
Yeah, more. There's no more shadow.
There's no more. Amari
There's no more armor. There's no more. There's no more excuse.
You want
There's
the ball?
No more restrictor plate. You gotta go.
Exactly.
You're the guy now.
You're the guy.
You're the guy, and not only are you the guy, you're the guy for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're wearing number 88, which we have.
And you're wearing number exactly.
Like this is your time. Are you gonna sink or are you gonna fly?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not even gonna say swim. I want to see him flying. I want to see like we talked about this last cast. I think, to me personally, anything if he has under 1,200 yards and under 10 touchdowns, I'm probably going to consider it a fail on the season.
Oh, 100%. Listen, I'm expecting bigger numbers than that.
That's what I mean. But like,
I want
like
100 catches. I want 1,400 yards, and I want at least 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. If you want to be number 1 for America's team, that's and we're 88. Like you got who? Des Bryant, Michael Irvin, Drew Pearson. It's
absolutely
you're the guy. Like it's your turn to go, and it starts here at mandatory minicamp. I like the fact that Dak is now involved in all the offseason. There's no COVID, hopefully. I just like that they're actually going to have a full offseason program to finally have CD as that guy, because it's never been that way, right?
Dak fully healthy, CD in that role, TP20 getting some call it rogue reps as a wide receiver.
Rogue reps.
and Zeke putting up the production. I mean, I didn't want to steal whatever you're going to say, maybe because you're going to say Zeke.
No, I'll probably do something defensively.
Oh, of course.
I would like to see
you defensive son of a bitch. You
right. I'd like to see Sam Williams step in, like come into mandatory minicamps and be like, okay, we made the right decision letting Randy Gregory go, and 2, we made the right decision drafting this guy at 2, and I hope Sam Williams, and I mean it's a lot to put on a rookie, but it's like we want this instant gratification with our picks. We got it last year with Micah, and I hope that we strike gold, twice in back-to-back seasons. I'd really like to see Sam Williams step into that role and take that role as the either defensive end I'm not going to say one. He's not going to. I'm not that high up on the glue right now. But even just being like a very good rotational player going into the season, even going into training camp, that's kind of what I want to see.
I'm too emotional, and Barry, if you you've gotten to know me over the last year, but I'm too emotional when I get to really invest myself into a team because we went to the draft and because we draft these players, and I've been following the off season way more this year than last year. I was just trying to produce my brother's podcast.
Right. Now you're invested.
Look at him. Now he's dead. Last year at this time, he was wearing like a Seattle Seahawks hat and like
Raiders a couple
times. Look at him. He's wearing a camo. He looks more American than an American.
Right.
I literally, I honestly, I've sworn off. It's like I've kneeled down and I said, I would have gotten a Dallas Cowboys tattoo last year had we all sat down. And I've literally pledged allegiance to the core. So I get emotionally attached. So like when Ant says, "Oh, well, Sam Williams is big for a rookie," it's like I'm expecting him because I've seen him and Mike.
That's required.
I'm expecting him to have big things this year.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you, man. When you've seen the Cowboys draft this well for some years now,
I'd say 10. I'd say at least a decade.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've really put some real good draft classes together. So you expect them to hit home runs. Now, is it realistic that they're going to do that all the time? Absolutely not. But you still want to believe that the guys that they take very early hit, because if you got the guys that hit early, it just makes everything just feel better. So, hopefully this kid, Sam Williams, definitely does, do what he needs to do. The other wrinkle the other thing that I would love to see in mandatory minicamp, I want to see Mike McCarthy get a little edgier.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit more. I think he was playing a character on Hard Knocks last season.
Right.
Yeah, you hated it. I remember this now.
Yeah,
we actually talked about this.
It made me sick.
We were sliding into each other's DMs a little bit.
Yeah,
about this.
It was just not him. It just
you
didn't feel, genuine. But you can get edgier because there's an importance to this season. Like, there's a lot on the line. People expect the Cowboys to kind of take a step back and win a division still, but still not be one of the teams that you have to take seriously in the NFC. They need to make sure that they play with an edge this year, and that has to start with the coaching staff. Dan Quinn can't be the only one to have that. Bones can't be the only one to have that. You have to get some toughness within your offensive coordinator, and you have to get some toughness in your head coach.
Yep.
Well, and that's the thing with like Mike McCarthy. He has to know that this is his last ride if he doesn't produce, right? Like he has to.
Right.
The landscape of the NFL is produce now. Okay, maybe we'll give you 3 years. Your first year, you had COVID and Dak's injury. Well, now you had last year. This year, there's no excuses.
Yeah,
Right.
you've been pretty big on that. That the other years there's some you could go and let's say if you're pleading your case, you could say, well, if this was better, this was like I need my job. A lot of them could actually say that, but this year coming into
There's no excuse.
off season, there is no excuse. I
Right.
mean, even with the draft, like it's not like we draft a bunch of fucking schlubs. Like looking at the talent that we have on the team and how they fit into the system. Sure, we were a little bit soft on free agency. Sure, we didn't, maybe we didn't draft some of the studs that we were looking at, but ultimately, if you kind of look at the team, it's like, wait a second, we're actually in a pretty good spot that
Right.
any team with the caliber, with the quarterback, the running backs, wide receiver, defense, like I don't think we lost in defense.
No, I don't
Right.
either.
I think our defense is going to be better this year than it was last year.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I agree.
At first, I did think a little bit with the Randy Gregory thing, but then I saw what he got signed for, and I'm glad we didn't actually pull the trigger. Randy Gregory, yeah, in flashes is a great player, and he had a good season last year. I think the Broncos overpaid for him. Maybe he goes into Denver and has a 10 plus sack season, but where we are this year, I didn't want to risk that. I thought we like kind of like a Schultz kind of guy.
Well,
We could pick someone up to replace his production. What did he have? 5 or 6 sacks? I even think there's a guy.
Something like that.
I think there's a guy already on the team in Dorrance Armstrong that could replicate that.
Oh yeah, Dorrance Armstrong is really good, man.
Like
He's
I
good.
honestly think he with more snaps and more time in a starting role, he could be the same, just as good as Randy Gregory has
Right.
been.
I agree.
The thing that chapped my ass about Randy Gregory is the Cowboys literally gave this guy fucking, I'm not going to say a million chances, but it felt like a million chances. Granted, the thing they were giving him chances for is the guy smoked weed, which I think is so dumb that the guy should have ever been suspended in the first place.
Exactly.
But they still gave him every opportunity to still come back and be in the league, right? And then it was kind of like, I mean, even after he got signed by the Broncos, he kind of went rogue and was kind of bashing on the Cowboys. And I think he handled that shit pretty fucked up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what more would you expect from a guy that does bonehead shit in a game that kind of costs you field advantage in an important wild card game?
Man, I've never been so that the play where he like tackled the right tackle.
He literally Goldberg somebody,
and they weren't even in the play.
Weren't even in the play. Yeah. He's an idiot.
Oh man,
so let him go and dummy up the Denver Broncos defensive line. Yeah. That's all right. You need guys that have IQ and know exactly what they're doing and have patience and cadence and understand what their roles are instead of going rogue on the line and costing you games. So he can go.
Or you need some guys who come in who have like this kind of angst or anger, and you hear about Ridgeway.
Ridgeway's got some dog in him.
Get some fucking energy in there that you can then kind of mold and you can kind of tame a little bit.
But controlled energy.
Controlled energy.
Yeah, controlled aggression.
Getting some fucking some flags. As long as you can fucking put maybe some fear or some fucking I want that.
It's the timing. The timing
exactly.
Of his flag was so bad.
Man. It's all about just using your head. Like
sorry. But what I'm getting is that like a guy like Randy Gregory, where you don't expect that type of mistake to happen to a guy like Randy Gregory, and that's where it's like, you know what? Okay, fucking get rid of him. Get other people coming through.
I just love AJ bought his jersey.
They bring the noise. I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys.